Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one, Andre.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Oh my God!
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two, on bar.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three, Lamas covers. Three-handle family Gradunzel.
Mamma mia!
And now,
Unchained.media presents the B Plus Podcast with your host, GregUnchained.
It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
number four, armbar.
I will never retire!
I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to list.
All right, fellow B Plus players, welcome to the B Plus Podcast. I'm your host, GregUnchained. Today is Tuesday. You know what that means. It's time for a bonus episode, which, being that yesterday was Survivor Series, can only mean one thing. We're going to talk WWE this week. So joining me, as ever, C-Jaii. How are you, C-Jaii?
Feeling fantastic, mate. How are you doing?
I've been better. I'm drinking room temperature water, and I'm pretty sure I'm in the hottest room in Adelaide at the moment. So I've been better. But my rider specifically asked for cold water. I don't know what's going on here. We're not alone, though. We are also joined, for the first time ever, by, her name here says Danders the Manders.
Hello, gentlemen. How are we doing this evening?
How you doing, Danders?
Yeah, I'm living large and in charge.
Living large and in charge. So Danders is joining us live by the magic of the internet. We all connect via the internet because we're nerds and we don't have real friends in the real world. And Danders actually went to watch Survivor Series live today with a bunch of other humans. How was that?
Yeah, it was interesting having to interact with other people who engage in the same nerdy behaviours as you. But yeah, no, it was good, except it was, I want to say unseasonably warm, but I mean, I guess we're getting into summer. It was 30 degrees today. I am sunburnt on one half of my body that was in the sun, and coupled with, pretty much the highest level of pollen in Melbourne. So I'm sunburnt, I'm snotty, and I'm very confused by the events that transpired today.
Yeah, well, we'll get to those, but I think we should probably start with TakeOver first, since TakeOver was first and not arguably at all, there is no debate, better. It was a better show. I know we shouldn't really compare the two because it's kind of unfair.
We can compare all we want, just like everyone still compares ECW to WWE. We can compare
People still
NXT.
do that?
Yeah, I hear quite a lot.
Really? Wow. Yeah, that's kind of
Especially when
ridiculous,
it comes to Extreme Rules.
they're PG now. It's completely different.
I know, but that's not the point. We're still arguing about teams.
Yeah,
And branches
yeah.
and-
I'm waiting for them to include NXT in Survivor Series. Have a triple threat Survivor Series match.
You know, I'm pissed that NXT didn't interfere this year.
Yeah,
I reckon it would have been
good for it.
boss as.
I reckon they could have maybe potentially had a Survivor Series style match in Wargames, like a traditional 4-on-4 or 5-on-5. Whatever that being said, the card was already pretty stacked, and maybe that's something for the future potentially.
True.
Yeah, it was definitely a stacked card, and we thought originally the news came that Matt Riddle and Cassius Ohno was not going to make the card. It was going to be filmed prior so that they could put that on the next week's episode of NXT, but they kind of bait and switched us because then Matt Riddle comes out to open the show and then takes down Cassius Ohno in a matter of seconds.
Side note, has he put on a lot of mass, or does he just look bigger on TV? Because I know he's always been pretty shredded, but when I saw him at World Series earlier this year, he was very lean, and now he looks quite shredded, quite buff.
He's definitely put on a lot more muscle mass.
Yeah.
They say the camera adds 10 pounds, so what's that, like 5 kilos?
Yeah,
Oh, who
4.8
knows?
kilos.
Yeah, I don't. Well, specifics. Danders the Manders. Just
Yeah.
call you Danders the calculator. That doesn't rhyme. It doesn't work at all. But no, I think that I think it's a combination of it looks different on TV. He's a very lean individual, but he definitely. I see what you're saying. He looked a little bit like bulkier.
Yeah, like I think
Yeah.
like when I saw him 6 months ago or whenever it was, I was like, how does he lift people? Like he's obviously very strong, but he's like small, and he didn't look out of place at all. I don't know why I'm spending so much time talking about his physique.
No, but I get what you're saying though, because the first time I saw Matt Riddle, I thought the same thing. I was like, this guy's a wrestler. Like same thing you think when you look at Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, exactly. That really
Or TJP.
No, TJP still has the sort of the broad shoulders and the V shape. I don't know what it is. It's just super lean and super. I mean, not athletic because they all look athletic, but yeah. Now we're spending too much time on the physique. Now it's getting weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, he beats Cassius Ohno with the big kick, gets the 3 count. Would it have been better if it was just like a clean knockout and the ref was just like, whoa, this has to stop already?
That would have been so much better.
Yeah, I think the aim though, like, I mean, when you do that, I feel like if you do that, you kind of have to have like people come out and check on him and things like that. And I feel like that would sort of slow down the start and kind of take away from the quickness of the moment.
Right. So it was kind of a stab, like, boom, we're done. He wasn't expecting it. Now he has a way out. He has an excuse to say, I wasn't ready.
Yep.
The match wasn't supposed to happen. Yeah, and they can continue it for a while. Hopefully not until the next takeover, though, because that would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
That would be
then
one
we-
long-ass build.
Yeah, it would. Then we get Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler. 2 out of 3 falls. I didn't even realize this was going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match. I don't know how I missed that.
It's because you don't watch the WWE every week now, Greg.
I've still been watching NXT, though.
Have you really?
I have. I've still been watching NXT. But, and I've still been watching the WWE as well. I just watch it in highlights, like on YouTube, because it's way easier.
A lot
Yeah, it's
quicker.
pretty time consuming these days.
Yeah, well, it's 10 hours a week.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this match because I felt like it was a little bit cheap, and in terms of the first fall, yeah, I don't know. I felt a little bit cheap. Maybe it's just because I'm so in love with my Pirate Bay, but
Yeah. I was completely ready for Kairi to win it. Because I thought, especially with the way the match played out, as the match was playing out, and it was really overbooked, but in a good way.
yeah,
Like, it felt like when everyone was coming out and running in, and you had Io Shirai and Dakota Kai come out to counter the interference from Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir.
oh my god, that
and-
moonsault though. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What do they call her? The something of the skies? I always forget it.
yeah. I end up calling her the Assassin of the Sky because I just merge Will Ospreay and Robbie Eagles.
Yeah, it's something though. They give her some kind of
Yeah.
name, and it's accurate.
Yeah.
It's accurate because she's pretty impressive. But when they did all the overbooking and everything, I was like, NXT is showing us how you can actually overbook stuff and do crazy quick title changes. Because I thought that was where it was going. They're going to overbook this match to make an excuse for Shayna, and they're going to put the title straight back onto Kairi, and then move on from there into this 3-on-3 feud kind of thing. But they didn't go that way, and that's the part that I thought was weird, that Shayna ended up picking up the win.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like back-to-back cheat victories, for lack of a better word, it just kind of generally rubs me the wrong way. I feel like they're wasting my time. But I don't know, like, where does it go from here? Do they keep feuding, or does Shayna go against someone else? Like, yeah, I don't know. That's what I feel weird about it, because I was like, I do like Shayna. I think that she's a great heel performer, but it's just like, where does it go from here?
I love Shayna Baszler. You'll learn about me. CJ knows this. Anyone who does all the limb manipulation and stuff, so like your Zack Sabre Jr.'s, your Pete Dunne, like all of those that really work the limbs and stuff, I love that shit. And when they have that vicious streak, so Shayna Baszler is right up my alley. But still, I thought it was time for them to move on from Shayna as champion. I've said it for a while now, especially with the 4 Horsewomen. I think that's where they're going next.
I think you're right. I think that's where they are building towards it. I personally think, though, you know whose time it is to go up against Shayna and win? Bianca Belair.
Nah, too obvious. Dakota Kai, man. Dakota Kai. She needs to get that win.
But Dakota Kai's probably focused on the UK scene at the moment, isn't she?
I don't know, it's starting to get a bit messy, isn't it? Like, because then they have the women's tournament on NXT UK is just rolling out now, even though that's from months ago. So it gets confusing, kind of.
It's so confusing.
But yeah, okay, so I guess after that, we get the Black and Gargano match. Like, the thing about takeovers is they go so quickly, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, Survivor Series is a massive drag, but takeover was just like, wait, that's it? It's done?
Yeah, there's so little, like, drama filler in between. Like that, yeah, you just get so much more wrestling in a shorter time.
Yeah. And better wrestling, arguably. But Black just kicks the shit out of Gargano, multiple kicks to the face. I thought it was a good match, but the commentary killed me a few times.
Yeah.
I tend to mute commentary with NXT, to be honest.
I really like Mario, but I'm like, Mario, why are you yelling at me? Like, just...
Mario Ronaldo?
Is that who it is?
No, it's a weird name. No offense.
Moro Ronaldo.
Moro,
I'm just going to call him Mario. Like, I can't.
Yeah, fucking A.
That's right.
It's Mario now.
You're talking to someone who calls, like, the other guy Tomato Chomper, because I can't pronounce his name, so...
Can we just call him Mario Ronaldo?
Mario Ranello is what I call him in my head. Because I'm thinking of Mario Condello from Underbelly. Fuck, sorry. Moving on. I feel like he's too animated all the time. He's just a little bit too much. And it detracts from what's going on.
I enjoy it in situations like in the Wargames match. I thought he was fantastic in the Wargames match. But yeah, in dramatic moments, like when they were doing the whole, where they were like, so they did that spot in the match. I think it started with Black doing it and sitting there and being like, go on, kick me, go on, do it. And then Johnny did it as well at a different point in the match. And he just way oversold those two moments.
Yeah.
And it killed the moment for me. And I was just like, if you just let that moment breathe, I would enjoy it a lot more.
You know who he actually reminds me of? Joey Styles.
Yeah, but Joey was calling matches on his own, so he naturally had to let things breathe so he could take a drink.
Yeah, but it was like the over-the-topness style of things.
He does have a very similar style. He does.
I think that's what annoys me about it, because I never liked Joey Styles either.
But other than the commentary, which, I mean, I'm sure it would suck for them to know that we're talking about that in their match, but the match was pretty good.
I really enjoyed it. I'm not amazingly up to date with NXT, so I had to play a little bit of catch up with this one, but I just felt like the emotion in the match for someone who wasn't really invested in it was so apparent and so easy to engage with, and obviously the sheer physicality of it as well. This was probably the best match, in my opinion, or my favourite match on the card there.
Oh, wow. For me, it's definitely the next one. But just quickly, C-Jaii, I know you are very invested in NXT at the moment.
Yes.
How do you feel about Gargano taking another loss here?
I actually didn't mind it, because it shows that he can have a bit more anger towards it as well, and it can officially sort of have that heel turn that we all can see is coming. And we could have...
Oh, I think it's happened already. He's well and truly heel.
No, he's not a heel as such just yet. I think his explanation was perfect last week on NXT. I don't know if either of you saw it, where he was saying, you were just collateral damage. You were in my way. I think now that Black has actually defeated him and pretty much knocked his teeth out of his jaw, I reckon Gargano's going to be like, no, you're in my way, and you're still in my way. I've had enough of you. And goes again.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is he's become a man possessed, right? And I think the story that they're telling is, I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
It's the one of, like, the classic monomyth, and he's got to go into the underworld and face the demons and emerge with a new light for the world to show the world how to be a better human, right? Like, it's a classic Herculean monomyth. And I think that he has to lose. Like, he has to get his ass kicked repeatedly before he realizes it. But I've seen a lot of people talking online about how he can't keep losing. Like, this is ridiculous. But I'm like, to me, I feel like people aren't getting it, at which point I think they should pull the plug. But they've been telling this story for so long that I really think it could be beautiful, but I don't want them to rush it. So I'm kind of torn as to whether it's a good thing or not.
No, I agree with you there. They do need to pull the trigger on it, but I think it needs to happen closer to a Rumble weekend.
Yeah. Velveteen Dream versus Tomato Chomper.
Yeah, try and unhear that now. Every time it comes on screen, just imagine Tomato Chomper. And then you look at his face and he looks like someone who just fucking chomps on tomatoes too.
Here's the thing. It's not the first time I've heard it because I have a 3-year-old daughter who struggles with some of the names and she calls him Tomato Champ. And so it was very close. and the War Raiders are the War Riders, right? So it's like little things that she gets wrong.
Yep.
Yeah. So the Tomato I'm very familiar with, but the Chomper, that takes it to the next level. But this match was incredible. I thought this was match of the night, hands down.
Yeah.
I'll disagree.
But it's alright, we're all allowed to have different opinions.
Yep.
No, we're not.
No, alright.
No, we're not.
Okay.
C-Jaii's not allowed to disagree with me. No, fair enough. I'm going to guess you liked the War Games match.
Oh, I loved it. But we're talking about NXT Championship here.
Ciampa, Dream. Dream comes out dressed like Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah, that rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that at all.
Okay, why not? Why not? Am I missing something?
I just hate Hulk Hogan. I hate the way that he's just been allowed to... If that was, 6 months ago, there was no way he would be allowed to do that. And as far as I'm concerned, Hulk Hogan's still a piece of shit.
But I feel like, isn't that the point? Isn't the point that he's taking something and just sort of, and being like, man, fuck all that noise? Like, I don't know. I liked it. I liked it because I thought it was very brazen. It was very in your face. And, they're in LA. I don't know. I thought it was cool.
I think it was just a bit over the top. Like, you see things online constantly where Dream's like, I want to be managed by Hollywood Hogan. He's constantly saying...
No, he turned Hogan down. Hogan said that he wanted to manage, because once before he wore the red and yellow feather boas, right? And so Hulk Hogan tweeted that he could manage the Dream, and Dream was like, no, thank you. Like, I don't need... That's why I think he did it. It's like a piss take, right? He's taken the piss out of Hulk Hogan.
Alright, yep.
So I enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome. And the cool thing is he didn't do any of the moves or anything. He just did the taunts and he just had the look and that was it. And then they get underway with the match. Did he do the leg drop?
He did the leg drop.
Oh, shit. But he didn't do the boot.
No.
Well, it's just a leg drop then. If it doesn't have the boot, it's not the leg drop.
No, it's not the leg drop.
But yeah, I thought the match was fantastic. I just, all of the near falls, the stuff that they did on the outside, like I lost my mind. I don't even have any notes other than fucking wow, incredible match, because I was just so invested in watching the actual match. So I can't now recall many of the moves. I just recall the feeling I had.
Yeah. Look, I think Velveteen Dream struggles to have a bad match. Like, he's so charismatic in everything that he does.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and I'm sort of like similar, like in terms of the moveset and things like that. All I kind of just think is how amazing how engaging he is as a performer.
Yeah, how he just sucks you in.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, you can't look away when he's on the screen. And I'm trying to think of someone else who I've felt that way about in like the last 10 years. And maybe Daniel Bryan, but in a very different way. But I can't think of anyone really.
Yeah, I think the obvious comparison, not within the last 10 years, but like the obvious comparison is Goldust. That sort of enigma over actual level of performance, though he's a great performer. But that mysterious kind of crossing the line of sexuality and things like that. Like, sorry, I'm losing my brain.
No, that's right. And I think he takes it that step further, too. So there were some people talking about it in our group chat yesterday about the sexuality of the character and all that sort of stuff, and how in interviews he's talked about it and it doesn't really matter. And the stuff who was it? Someone, I think it was on All the Rest, Mr. Mysterious was telling me that Cody was saying if Goldust was doing the 90s Goldust gimmick today, it'd just get cheered because people would be like, yeah, get it, girl, right?
Yep.
But so it's not risque, but that's where Dream doing all this extra stuff, like the Hogan thing, he's pushing more boundaries. He's pushing different buttons.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It's different because it's not like he's coming out in lingerie and things like that Goldust did. And then, I think he's doing it in a different way, but it's still that same engaging, like really mysterious kind of aura to him.
I think the worst thing that Velveteen Dream has done is all he's doing is insulting millennials at this point.
How so?
Hogan. All the millennials, if you've watched, hate Hogan, and now what he's done is just gone out and dressed like him. That may get backlash.
I don't think so. Everyone loves Dream. So Dream, I think that's the statement, is Dream is like, I can do what I want because Dream over, right? Like,
True.
I want that fucking shirt. It just says over. Like,
Yeah, that was
Dream
pretty good.
over. And talking about Dream is also over. So Ciampa retains the title, which I actually thought it was going to be Dream's moment, potentially. But then I think they've still got more to tell with Ciampa and even Gargano. So
Yeah, who's going to be the one to take this title?
it's got to be Gargano, right?
Is it going to
It's
be
gotta be.
Gargano or Riddle?
I mean, narratively, it's not going to be satisfying if it's not Gargano. But I don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes. And then we get the War Games match.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't actually watch War Games last year. I don't even know why, but it was new to me this year, and I don't know how to feel about it.
You don't like the stipulation itself. Have you not watched the old school, like the WCW stuff? Because I know you're a fan of the retro stuff.
Yeah, but I haven't watched it in like 20 years. So it was like I feel like it's very slow to start, and the idea of having half the time one team being at a disadvantage made little sense to me. I like the idea of what they did. Sorry if I'm just diving into it. The idea of what they did with keeping Pete Dunne in the cage.
Yeah, so Bobby Fish, when he got released, he used their lock on the other cage and then threw the key into the crowd, which was amazing.
Yeah.
That was a smart move.
But there's no bottom on those cages. You could just,
They're also quite heavy.
Yeah, but like, there's 3 men standing around being like, no, don't do that, don't do that. Like, Marge Simpson style. And like, I'm like, there's no bottom on that cage. Like, they could, like, it was just very poorly executed, that part, I felt. And then it took them so long to be like, someone go get bolt cutters.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it's meant to add to the drama of the match.
Yeah.
All right, Danders.
I know.
But this is where I have to disagree with C-Jaii. And I'm actually going to agree with you that it was weird. Like, those little moments are weird. And not just that, for me, the big killer was, and this is probably going to be the spot that C-Jaii's going to rave about, but the avalanche spot with the backwards, the double moonsault. There's just too much standing around waiting. And to me, it takes me out of it. Like, they're just standing there waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. To be honest, I wasn't a big fan of the spot myself. Yes, it was an amazing maneuver, like double backflip. That always looks good no matter who does it. But when it comes to standing around and waiting for the move, and you can just see them just waiting.
Like, literally looking up.
Yeah.
Like, I know what's about to happen. Yeah, like, why the fuck aren't you moving?
Yeah, that's exactly right. When the camera was on everyone in the ring, and they all just stopped, you're like, oh, right, Ricochet's still up there. Okay, he's going to do something here.
Close your eyes. I'm going to paint a picture for you, okay?
Okay.
Instead of that, you get the avalanche spot with the power bomb and everyone comes off the cage, and it's stupid. Who was it that was at the bottom of that move? I think
It was Hanson?
Adam Cole. No, who was at the top, the bottom in terms of, like, they took the move the most. It was Adam Cole, right?
Yeah, Cole.
Yeah. So Adam Cole is knocked out in the corner. Everyone else gets up and does that face-off spot, right?
Yeah.
Ricochet is still up the top, and the camera just isn't focused on him or Adam Cole, who's knocked out in the corner. And the other 4 guys on each team get up and they do that face-off spot that they did in the middle where they're punching in the middle, and then Ricochet comes out of nowhere with the double moonsault. How much better would that have been? Because they're all together, but they're not waiting, looking up.
Yeah, that would have been better. But I think where that face-off situation was, that could not have been any more perfect time for me.
Oh, the face-off was awesome. That pulled me back in, but like the stuff right before it took me out. But then when they all got up and they did that "we're going to war" thing and they were in each ring, I thought that bit was amazing.
Yeah.
And that sucked me right back in. But I couldn't help but think how much better Ricochet's spot would have been if it felt more natural. But he couldn't have done that because that spot in the ring, it's literally, it's the hardest part of the ring, but times 2 and with a metal beam over the top of it.
Yeah, true.
So, like, they're not going to do that on that part of the ring. It's just never going to happen.
No.
But overall, I think the match was insane. I'm pretty sure Bobby Fish had to be helped out.
Bobby Fish was cleared for injury, though. He's not injured, which is perfect. It was just a mental thing.
Just incredibly sore.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys paid attention to the conference call post NXT Takeover. I listened to a bit of it myself. Triple H went on record to say that he's not injured. Medics cleared him straight away. It was just a mental thing. He was scared that because he's just come back and he tweaked it the same way he tweaked it when it injured, that there was...
Right.
He thought that he'd done it again because it was painful, but they were like, no, you good.
So he was freaking out, but he was okay.
He freaked out.
Well, that's good to hear. What do you guys think? Just one more note from this match. What do you guys think of Hansen's acrobatics? You know, he does the handspring and stuff.
How the hell does a guy that size move like that?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I always think it looks like even more impressive when it's a larger person being so agile. On like a lower scale, like on a local scale, if you look at guys like Caveman Ugg and like Jonah Rock, who are, like bigger performers and are so agile and doing like crazy flippy shit, I always find that way more impressive than...
Ugg go flip.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I love that sort of, like Kevin Owens kind of was like that too once upon a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it more enjoyable to watch than someone of a small size doing the flippy shit. I think it's because it's that level of expectation. Like if you're small, you're expected to do the bouncy flippy shit.
Yeah, it's like, of course you can do a triple twist moonsault, somersault twist,
Yeah.
whatever it's called. but this guy does half that, but it's more impressive.
Exactly. This guy does half that and could eat you as well. So
For breakfast,
Exactly.
yeah. And then ask for seconds. But I think the other thing for me was, when I was watching it, my partner was like, that was so slow. Like when he did the handspring, it's like, that was so slow. And I'm like, yeah, but for me, the slowness of it, like, unlike the other stuff that took me out of the match, like, no one was standing around watching, waiting for it to happen. And it just made it all that more impressive because I'm like, he hit him so hard that he could take his time doing that right. I liked it a lot.
Speaking of doing things right as well, Greg, I know you'll like this spot where they had Pete Dunne in the double submission and he still didn't tap out.
Yes, with the chains and stuff too, right?
The chains, and I think it was the steel chair.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. Yeah, Pete Dunne's the man.
How the hell did he not tap out from that?
Was tapping out even eligible at that point? No, it was, yeah, because Pete Dunne was in the match, right, because he was the last one to get in. Yeah. So overall, NXT TakeOver, fantastic show, and blew Survivor Series out of the water. And then today, we wake up 2 hours earlier, well, probably even earlier for you, Danders, to get down to wherever you went to watch it, and then we get what we got.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, Greg, curious question for you, man. Have you been shopping recently?
I have not.
Mate, well, I've got some good news for you. I know you're not a big fan of crowds, as most of us here at the B Plus aren't. Have you heard of Threadbox?
I have heard of Threadbox.
Man, then you would know how good they actually are. I mean, I just received my first crate, and holy moly, I'm amazed. Guys, if you're listening, go check out threadbox.com.au. And they have everything from hats to socks to shirts to pants. It's fantastic. With email to a personalized stylist and customizable crates, it's honestly one of the best things I've had. I don't know about you, Greg, but I really enjoy it.
I got a crate the other day, and they gave me new jeans, a couple of new shirts, and the cool thing is, one of the shirts I tried it on, and it was a little bit long for me, and I thought this accentuates how short I am in person, and so I sent them an email, and I was just like, hey. This shirt, I feel like it makes me look really short because I'm kind of short. And they were like, send it back. We'll give you something else next month, like an extra thing. So I'm going to send that shirt back. And then next month, they're going to send me out something else. And I said to them, I've got lots of shirts. And they were like, well, we'll send you some accessories. And that's how Threadbox do it. It's kind of fantastic.
See, how good's that? And with our special code, the B Plus 15 at checkout, actually saves all our fans 15% at checkout on their first box. How cool is that?
Yeah, so head to threadbox.com.au today and use the code the B Plus 15 to get your first box as soon as you can. The B Plus is growing, and we want you to be a part of it. So if you have an idea for a podcast, or if you want to write reviews for shows, whether that's WWE, New Japan, local shows especially, we have a big focus on Aussie Graps here. So if you go out to shows in Melbourne, we specifically need people in New Zealand, Tasmania, and Queensland. If you go out to shows in those areas, please let us know. We would love to hear from you. We would love to work with you. If you have a passion for wrestling and you want to write about anything wrestling. It can be anything. It can be listicles, it can be in-depth articles, opinion pieces, show reviews, whatever you want to do. If it's wrestling, it's fair game. Shoot us a message or send an email to theb+@unchained.media. That's theb+@unchained.media. Let us know what you want to do and we'll get back to you and we'll work something out because the B+ is growing and we want to grow the B+ family. Now, on with the show. Did anyone watch the pre-show?
Yeah, when I got to the Sporting Globe, because they're showing it on main event, because you have to, like, because it's a pub, there was no pre-show, so I'm, like, sitting in this crowded room watching it on my phone.
With everyone else doing the same thing?
Yeah, like everyone else being like, what? Because they have, like, a main event have, like, a 30-minute, like, kind of like the pre-show, but just talking.
Yeah.
And people are looking over at me and they're like, shit, the actual pre-show's on. Oh my God, we're missing it. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So, yeah, I missed maybe like the first 10 minutes. So apparently there was some mix-up with the women's, like who was going to be in the women's thing. That was shaken up. And then Bailey and Sasha ended up being in it or something.
Yeah, so Natty and Ruby got into a fight backstage. Like when Alexa was doing the whole, we can do this, we're Team Raw, stuff that they always do that's annoying and takes up time. When they were doing that, Natty and Ruby just started fighting because, Ruby had attacked Natty previously and blah, blah, blah. And so Alexa kicked them both off the team and then found Sasha and Bailey as replacements. But we also had Drake Maverick tearing the panel apart about, how great he is and how great AOP are and how, he's the general manager, and since managing AOP, he's taken them straight to the tag team titles. Since managing 205 Live, it's become the most hotly anticipated must-see, blah, blah, blah. And he just tore them a new one. And, like, I can't remember who it was. Beth Phoenix was just like, you could see her on the panel just being in awe of what he was doing with the microphone, and it was really fun to watch. And then he pissed himself later, so kind of undid everything.
Yeah.
I remember when that happened, I was like, who fucking let Vince Russo into the writing room? Like,
yeah, what was that?
It was the only other time I can remember that happening was Austin 316 said, "I just pissed my pants." That's what it made me think of, and it was like, when we asked for Attitude Era, this is not what we mean. We don't want people pissing themselves.
We don't want bedpans. We don't want people pissing themselves. We want guns and violence.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
getting ahead of ourselves here.
It took him so long as well. Yeah, we are getting ahead of ourselves. We'll get to it. So then, I guess the other thing that happened on the pre-show was the tag team survival match, which was ridiculous. It was 20 people.
Yeah.
Like
too much.
20 people.
Too much.
It's a bit much. And the match itself was just kind of there. There was no real major stuff. And then it didn't even count in the tally later in the night because they acted like Raw did a clean sweep, but Team SmackDown won this one. The Usos pinning the Revival.
I'm so happy Loser House Party got eliminated so quickly. You have no idea how happy I was to read the result that the Usos won, and it wasn't Loser House Party. I probably wouldn't have watched the show if they did.
I just think this could have been done as a Rumble. I know that, like, or what are they called when it's not the Royal Rumble?
Battle Royale.
I reckon they could have done it as that. I know that there's one of those on like every third show or whatever, but I feel like it's a good way to get everyone on the card. They probably could have had then another couple of tag teams in it. I just think that when you see people getting pinned so quickly, it just takes away from the tag division so much, which is already, in my opinion, struggling quite a bit.
Yeah, on Raw at least. On SmackDown, the tag division's quite strong, but which is why it's good that they won this one.
Yeah, absolutely. But I remember the lead up with the Usos and the New Day when they had that match to determine the captaincy. And then they did that thing at the end, where it's like, we're SmackDown, whatever. That was the first time I was like excited for like the tag division portion of Survivor Series, because I was like, it's going to be an actual brawl. But yeah, when you see people getting pinned in, minutes, and I just feel like it could have been a battle royale. Got a couple more teams in there. Everyone gets a payday.
I wasn't a fan, but I was glad that SmackDown won. And then we go to the main show. The main show kicks off with the women's Survivor Series match. And I feel like the Survivor Series matches on this show just weren't great. Like, none of the Survivor Series matches were really that interesting.
Yeah, it was really hard to invest with there just being so many people, especially when some of them are like feuding and things like that, and it's like, but they're not engaging that part of the feud within the match. It's just like,
yeah.
Except that the Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville side of things were absolutely fantastic.
yeah.
Well, yeah, with her tagging herself in and like insisting on coming in after, and getting the elimination. She stole the elimination off Sonya, right? That was one of the big moments. But other than that, I don't think that nothing really stands out too much.
No, they just played on a little bit more, which added a bit more excitement to it for myself.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I missed that part. I think I was in the bathroom for that part, so my bad, guys.
How do we feel about Nia Jax running with the face breaker gimmick?
I love it.
Yeah, she's not like most girls. I feel like it is the best way that WWE could handle it, because it's like, why not just roll with it? Roll with the punches.
See what you did there. I can tell you why not.
I'm so tired. That's hilarious to me.
Yeah, we record these things incredibly late. Thanks a lot, C.
Yeah. I think it's the best way that they could handle it. Get some legitimate heat on her.
Oh yeah, she's got heat. So that part of it's working.
Yeah, I just can't get into the thing with Tamina. Like, I've just let Nia be on her own. Like,
I think with that building, I've mentioned this a few times on the podcast. The teaming with Tamina is leading into the tag team titles. We're getting those soon.
Can hope so. Can hope so, and keep her away from the actual main title.
Please, because she's pointless in that spot.
Keep her in the chase for the tag titles. But the tag titles are going to go across brands, right?
Yep.
So if it's not the Iconics, then I don't give a shit.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And then we get the Shinsuke vs. Rollins match, which I was really excited for, and it felt like a house show match.
To me, this was the only match of the entire card that I was actually legitimately excited for. They didn't live up to the expectation I thought they would, but it was a fairly decent match.
I think I had pretty low expectations just because of how these two have been, particularly Shinsuke, how they've been booked in recent times. It's like, if you had had this match maybe a year ago, it would have been, I would have been super hot for it. But I was just like, I had really low expectations, and so I was pretty pleased with how it went.
Right.
But it definitely doesn't live up to the potential of these two superstars.
Yeah. Can we just stop doing the half and half shirts? They look fucking ridiculous.
And can we touch on
I hate that so much.
Can we touch on the fact that Shinsuke Nakamura is also now the new Blue Wiggle?
Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. And my daughter pointed out she didn't like that he didn't match, right? Because everything was blue, but he still had red teeth.
Oh. Ever the critic.
But I agreed with her. When I noticed it, I couldn't unsee it. Every time he grimaced, I was like, why did you not change your mouth guard as well, dude? Like, everything is blue except for your teeth. It's awful.
Mate, they cost $3.50. Just do it.
I was a bit over the shirts. I'm like, why don't they just have gear that's in the colours? I don't feel like they need to be wearing the shirts. It felt like really kind of budget costuming. Like, you get a shirt and you get a shirt.
I'm looking forward to next year's Survivor Series that's just shirts versus skins. I think that's the way it's going. So then we get the Bar vs. AOP, where, of course, we've touched on it already. Drake Maverick pisses himself.
And Enzo Amore cuts a promo.
Who?
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
Seriously. No.
Honestly, though.
Yeah, he's a cunt. He wants us to talk about him, so we're not going to. Like,
I will say one thing. If you need a t-shirt that says "I'm doing great" as you get ejected from a show where you got fired, it's like you got let off the charges, but everyone hated you so much they didn't give a shit. Like, I don't know if "I'm doing great" is like, it just when I saw that t-shirt, I thought of, where Ross on Friends is like, "I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm fine.
That's the perfect analogy. That's perfect.
It's the thing that pissed me off though was everyone was talking about it throughout, like, because I'm on Twitter as well, where I live tweet things for sort of. Anyway, I'm on Twitter. And everyone's talking about it. Meanwhile, Buddy Murphy and Mustafa Ali are out there stealing the show because Twitter didn't catch up to what was happening in the arena until after that match, right? And so everyone during the next match, no one's paying attention to the. Possibly the best match of the night. Well, it didn't end up being the best match of the night, but it was the best match at that point.
Yeah, definitely. Best match of the night so far.
But we'll rewind. So the Bar vs. AOP, it was a really, really boring match until Drake Maverick did his run around the ring spot. Big Show chokes him, and then he takes way too long to piss himself, and it's really awkward.
Can we just mention also the fact that how the Bar literally stopped the match to go check out what happened?
Yeah, well, that's what led to them losing.
But it was fantastic. They were just kind of like, oh, what's going on over here? Oh, he's pissed.
Did he have like a device in there?
I reckon,
or did he?
I'd say so.
He would have had to, just the way, because I imagine like if you actually pissed yourself that it would trickle down your leg, like it's not going to come down the front of your pants.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'd go like everywhere.
Yeah, it was very meticulous.
Specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was theatrically crafted. So they had their prop department work on something, I think is the consensus.
So,
there.
in other words, Vince has turned to someone backstage and gone, hey, do you know how to make it look like someone's pissed themselves? Imagine that conversation.
That is someone's job.
Yeah, no, Vinnie Mac's all over it. I told you he pissed his pants in 1997.
I've done this before, you can do it.
Well, that's his thing, right? He never asks anyone to do something he wouldn't do himself. He's the consummate professional. And then we get the show stealers, Buddy Murphy, Mustafa Ali. It felt like the crowd didn't even know who they were, but by the end of it, they were chanting 205 and this is awesome, which was really good to see.
I'm just happy that this wasn't on the freaking pre-show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, always. I'm also happy that they didn't die.
Yeah, that too.
Because some of those bumps, like to the outside onto the barricade, and the reverse Ranas always do my head in, man. The reverse Ranas. And the unsung hero of the match was the ref, just every time they took a sick neck bump, just being there. Just like, are you okay? Yeah, alright, let's continue. Like, he was on it. He was like, I'm ready for these guys to die, and I'm gonna help. And
I love that. These guys are gonna die, and I'm gonna be a part of it. Cool.
Yeah. I think,
it's
I
scary.
hope that, and I know that totally biased because it is Buddy, but I hope that he holds onto the belt for at least a little while, bring some legitimacy to the title again, because I feel like it was, especially with the whole dude who formerly held the belt, who we are not talking about anymore.
The guy who's doing great.
The guy who's doing great. That I feel like it did take a bit of a tarnishing. I feel like Buddy is helping, and again, totally biased, I feel like he's helping making it relevant again. Because he doesn't...
Well, Cedric did a lot as well. Cedric did a lot to make it a valuable championship.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the guy... I feel like he who must not be named literally killed 205
You
Live.
can name him. He put it close. It was on the brink. It was definitely on the brink. But let's move on. So Mustafa and Ali...
Mustafa and Ali.
Fuck, now I'm getting tired too. Buddy and Ali steal the show up to this point, but there's more to come. Then we get Team Raw and Team SmackDown. How early was Joe eliminated? How long was he in there for? Like 2 minutes?
Less. It felt like that was my moment where I was get fucked, mate. That was my actual response when Joe got pinned. It was it felt like about 45 seconds.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed. I was like arms in the air. I'm like, nah, taking a break. So I missed the next couple of minutes because I was like, this is ridiculous. But is he working hurt or something? Maybe.
Yeah. You can
that makes a
tell
lot of sense.
he's constantly got his knees strapped up at the moment, and you could tell when he's walking to the ring, he's got a slight limp still. So I think he's actually still hurting.
So put him on the apron for a bit. Like, don't have him go in and then just get eliminated.
See, he did.
Yeah, at least they had him eliminated by McIntyre, who they clearly. I feel like we all want it to be Braun, but it's not going to be. It's going to be McIntyre that goes to Mania. It's going to be McIntyre that dethrones Brock Lesnar.
Which is what needs to happen.
Ooh.
So at least they're building him as this, like, absolute brute killer.
But let's just put it out there, right?
Lesnar. Fucking love his accent.
I just want to point this out real quick. Joe pretty much had the spot that everyone thought Finn Balor was going to cop with the quickest pin eater.
Yeah, true.
Everyone I had spoken to previously, like prior to Survivor Series, was like, nah, Finn Balor's going to cop the first pin. He's going to be eliminated so quick. He was actually fairly decent in this match.
Yeah, he was. He was. I mean, from what I saw, like I said, I got a bit angry when Joe was eliminated. I was like, this is a joke. Because at this point as well, they're billing it as they've forgotten the pre-show exists, and they're saying that Raw are up like 4-0 or 3-0 or whatever at this point. Which Xavier Woods immediately tweeted, like, I think you mean 3-1 WWE. But it was, I was just sort of, because I'm thinking to myself, like, SmackDown is the better show. Everyone there is Team Blue. Everyone wants the blue team to be winning. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Like, why does Vince feel the need to do this? And so it got to me, and so I left. And so I missed quite a bit of this match. But then when I started paying attention again, it's Shane McMahon. It's the Shane McMahon show.
It was Shane McMahon featuring The Walking Dead. Honestly, that's how I've got it here on my notes, was Shane was the new zombie from Walking Dead and got buried very quickly.
Well, he is the best in the world.
Oh, fuck, don't start.
When you say he got buried very quickly, he was the last one left on the team.
Yeah, but look what he did.
Like, on a team with Rey Mysterio, who is still wrestling like he did 10 years ago, by the way. Like, Rey Mysterio looks incredible. When he's on a team with Rey Mysterio and fucking Jeff Hardy, who's not wrestling like he did 10 years ago, but still doing well. And I don't know, how is Shane McMahon the last guy left?
Personally, I don't think he should have been last guy left, like, at all. I think it should have been Miz. And Miz had, like, this unbelievable run to get destroyed by Braun.
I loved the teamwork between Miz and Shane. I loved, like, Miz, pulling Shane to get up to do the coast to coast, and then that spot with Braun was awesome where Shane jumps and Braun just goes bang. I popped huge for that.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, that was good when he just pushed him in midair. But is Miz a face now? Like, because he's acting like a good partner, and I'm so confused.
I think we're getting heel Shane more than face Miz, and I think that's what's building to that, because Miz is very likable as a heel. I feel like if he was going to be face, he's too smarmy, for lack of a better word. He's like, I think that we're getting heel Shane to team with, like, Miz, yeah.
Well, actually, considering you've mentioned heel Shane, I just want to mention a tweet that he put out after Survivor Series. This isn't the night I had in mind for Team Blue. Tomorrow is a new day, but something is going to have to change come Tuesday.
He's going to blame Paige, isn't he? He's going to fire Paige.
I don't think Paige is getting fired before this, like, movie thing is finished. Her movie, yeah.
Well, maybe they're going to spin it into some kind of story. I don't know. I couldn't envision what, though. But I don't know. I don't know where SmackDown's going. And considering SmackDown's been the better show, generally speaking, with having Shane be the featured guy and having Raw just run over SmackDown, it's got to be for some kind of story purpose, but I don't know where it's going, and it scares.
Could this potentially be leading into the way that they're trying to make it more violent for Fox? Because we all know that Fox has said we want more sports entertainment, we want more wrestling. Could this be the way where Shane's gonna, like, break the fourth wall and be like, no, you know what? We're gonna give the fans what they want. Stuff all this goody two-shoes stuff. You're better wrestlers. I know you're better wrestlers. I want to see it. You're now fighting for your spot on this roster. That's it.
Sort of unleash the killer instinct, kind of. Yep. Maybe. I don't know. It feels a bit too on the nose. I don't know. Like I said, I'm scared, but I have no idea where it's going. And Raw, as I said, they won easily. It was a bit of a joke. Shane was the last guy in. And then after the match, of course, Survivor Series is over now, so Corbin attacks Strowman before Strowman can get his hands on him. And then we go into the clear match of the night for me. Oh, yeah, clear match of the night. Charlotte and Ronda. How did you guys feel about this one?
I feel like face Charlotte is the hero we deserve, but not the one that we need right now. So I'm glad that she is evil fucking bitch Charlotte. I feel like that's the role that she plays best. I am still feeling those kendo sticks.
Oh,
Yes.
ouch.
It was brutal. The entire match was brutal. It just felt like an old school, like, I don't want to say sloppy because that's not the right word, but it was like
Scrappy.
it was a messy brawl.
Scrappy. Yeah.
Scrappy. Yeah, scrappy.
See, I like the term determined. They were both
Right.
determined superstars to get the win. They both wanted it. They were more focused on going over than they were actually with their opponent.
Yeah. And at one point, I loved that Ronda copped a stray elbow. It added to the match. It's one of those things where blood can add so much to the match. And you would think that it needs to be planned to really add more to it. But the last few instances of blood showing up prove that no, it's better when it's not planned. Like when Brock does the elbows to Randy's head, that's not as good as when Becky gets punched in the face or Charlotte hits a stray elbow on Ronda.
Yeah,
You know
because
what I mean?
it's not like Ronda was like gushing from the mouth. Like, it was quite subtle. But when she was screaming and all you can see is inside of her mouth is all red and like her chin and stuff is all red, it's just like it looks dramatic. Like, it looks terrifying without it actually being a whole lot amount of blood.
I thought the most interesting thing was they actually showed a replay of it and zoomed in on the elbow hitting the face. That's interesting given the general direction of WWE.
I think they're going to start playing out, if like accidents like this happen, they're just going to start rolling with it. It's similar to the Nia Becky situation where they replayed it 3 times in the same night, where they ended up copying the right hook. Like, they're going to start playing with it, and you can tell.
I have a theory. I have a theory that I tweeted out about that just basically it's finally clicked to Vince McMahon that, you know, after seeing the reaction to what happened to Becky, after seeing that reaction, it's finally clicked that, oh wait, we can literally just let them go out there and kick the shit out of each other. Because that's what this match felt like. It was like they're finally off the hook, just be as brutal as you want, go for gold. And they did. And it was intense and amazing, and I wish it was Becky that was in there, but I think Charlotte pulled it off. It was fantastic. And yeah, Charlotte being a heel, but this is the thing with WWE, they try to turn their faces heel, and it just makes them bigger faces, because the crowd were chanting, "Thank you, Charlotte."
Sorry.
I just want to point something out real quick. Could Charlotte turning heel, in a sense, in this match, be the lead up to the 4 Horsewomen match? Because
it's gotta be.
We can all see that Ronda wants... Ronda.
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey wants revenge. I can't believe I did that.
That's staying in, by the way.
Damn it. So, shout out to Kripke. So Ronda Rousey wants... Ronda Rousey wants revenge. And we can see that this is going to, in a sense, bring a... What's the term? Not a... Sugar. What's the term I'm looking for here?
Gonna bring out like another side of Ronda. I feel like because at the moment Ronda, she's a badass, but she's very smiley. She's very like, I'm here, I'm the best, I'm the champ. Hopefully this brings out like it was with Becky, like that.
Yeah,
I've got a challenge now.
But I also think it could also bring out with Shayna Baszler, and then you've got the other 2 girls. I keep forgetting their names, Duke and Shafir. With them coming up from NXT soon, you can see that's going to happen. I can see them making an invasion style thing to SmackDown and Ronda being like, we're not done. We are not done. And by this point as well, I can see Bayley and Sasha holding the women's tag team titles, meaning they can jump ship to SmackDown free will to go and defend their girls.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely leading to it, but I don't know when, because it's going to take some time to get there. I think it's going to play out after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and then you get the brand shuffles and stuff and people going to different places. So it's one of those things where we know they're going to get there, and it's very interesting to see how they're going to get there and how they're going to make Bayley and Sasha relevant again.
Pretty much the only way.
They've done a number. They've done a number on Bayley.
Yeah. To me, I think it's when I saw this was that we don't know how long Becky Lynch is going to be out for. Like with concussion testing, you know that they take that stuff super serious, as they should. I think they needed a fill-in the interim. Like, Becky was such a presence, like even not through fighting, just through her promos and everything like that they need something to come in for that, and that's where I think the heel Charlotte comes in, and they needed a way for Ronda's streak to stay intact because it's a thing now, Ronda being undefeated, without making Charlotte look weak.
Until she cops a kick to the face in Melbourne.
In Melbourne? Well, they had the chance to do that, and they didn't. I really think they should have. But, anyway. No, I think she will. I think she'll take her first fall at WrestleMania. Yeah. The question is whether it's going to be Becky or Charlotte, because everyone wanted it to be Becky, but then this match puts Charlotte back into contention.
I thought it was originally going to be... I think originally it would have been Charlotte. I feel like that they were building that it would eventually be Ronda versus Charlotte. After, she'd have the Becky feud for now and then move on to Charlotte.
But then because of the concussion, they had to switch plans. Yeah.
How do we feel about the... Sorry if I'm taking the reins. The reaction to Ronda.
It's one of those things where if it's clear that this is the person Vince wants to be winning, a certain section of the fans are gonna just completely reject it. I think that Ronda has, as a performer, done incredibly.
Yes.
And I think she's been booked. I think she's been booked really well, and I don't see where the rejection is coming from. I mean, she's better in the spot that she's in than Roman Reigns was 4 years ago when we first rejected him.
Yeah, I am going to politely disagree. I think that she is doing remarkably well, but I think it's also because everyone expected her to not do as well. I think that the combination of how well she's doing versus how shit everyone thought she was going to be, like everyone takes a little bit of time to develop, but unlike other people who have come in from other promotions or whatever, she wasn't in NXT. She has come straight in and been dominant straight away. And I think that is very disrespectful to the rest of the women. The fact that we have Bayley and Sasha fighting to get on a multi-women tag match is ridiculous because they, 2 years ago they were, like WrestleMania 32, the triple threat was the best match on the card, in my opinion. And now it's like Ronda's come in and Ronda's like, I'm going to change the women's division. It's like, bitch, you've come into a women's division that is changing. And yes, you are a part of that, but you are not the driving force. This has been years in the making. Sorry, I'm so passionate about this. I'm so sorry.
Is that... No, I 100% agree with you. When you put it like that, I 100% agree with you. And could that be the story that they tell? I mean, imagine if as soon as tomorrow, they come out and Sasha and Bayley jump on the exact same wagon that Becky and Charlotte have, and they just come out and they just beat the crap out of her for no apparent reason.
Yeah, see, I think that they had the potential to do this for Evolution, but they were too much on, no, Nikki Bella needs to be a bitch. And it's like, I think Nikki Bella could have been very justified in being like, you've come in, you've taken the shine away from what we've built here. But no, it was like, rah, rah, rah. And then Ronda's like, yeah, but you slept with John Cena. Like, oh, wow. Cool. Cool story, bro.
This is what I mean with the alignments and stuff. And we'll get into it with Daniel Bryan as well, I guess. I don't know if WWE, they're just throwing shit at the wall. Like, there's no good guys or bad guys anymore. There's just a whole bunch of grey. Because in that, it was like, okay, yeah, Ronda, you're being an idiot. And Nikki actually has good points with regards to the whole, we built this thing. Because, say what you want about the Bellas. They did. They were there.
So is Alicia Fox.
And that matters. That counts.
So is Alicia Fox, but she didn't bitch.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that it really is... It's sort of this thing where I don't think WWE care anymore whether they have good guys and bad guys. They're just like writing what they think the characters should do, which is kind of cool in a way. I
just think that the days of, and they're still doing it, the days of bringing someone in and giving them an extended undefeated streak is so tired, because then they, like, look at Asuka. Look at where Asuka is now. It's like she had a monster undefeated streak. She loses at WrestleMania, and then it's like nothing. Rusev's the same. Like, when is having a massive undefeated streak and then losing gone on to, have a really organic long length career?
during the pre-show, they were doing some of the things that they were saying, which I know that the panels on the pre-show, from listening to Sam Roberts' podcast and stuff, I gather that the stuff that they say on the pre-show is pretty organic. They're not really scripted. But some of the stuff they were coming out with on the pre-show sort of put me into a mode of thinking where I thought Charlotte was actually going to win this match clean and deal the first loss to Ronda and get that out of the way. Because that is a problem. When an undefeated streak becomes such a huge part of the character, that after it's gone, the character is almost gone, like what happened to Asuka, right? But I was in the mindset where I thought they were going to take that away because they were talking about, if Charlotte does get a win here over Ronda, I mean, there's no title on the line or anything, and it's just Charlotte is experienced and Ronda's a rookie. But what about when Ronda has the experience, in 2 years from now and they finally meet up again, and then they're on the same brand? They were saying stuff like that. And it gave me the thought that even like if Becky ends up getting Ronda at WrestleMania, then you can have, Becky being like, yeah, Charlotte, you beat the rookie, but I beat her after she'd had, this extended title reign and stuff. And I thought there was a lot of dynamics they could play with there, but they didn't. They just went with the DQ.
I was fine with how they ended the match because it's like they've made Ronda's streak a thing now, and it's like having someone who's essentially a fill-in, who's not the champ, come in and beat someone who is the champ. I think that they handled that really well because Charlotte looked dominating. I didn't like Ronda walking out of there. I think that she should have been stretched out, or at least, had to be carried out or whatever. I feel like taking... Yeah, well, they did. They were very deliberate about it. They tried to help her and they got the close-up of her saying, "Don't touch me, I'm fine." Yeah, like, bitch, you just took like 20 kendo stick shots. You just had a chair broken on your neck. Like, chill out. You took... I remember, 2.5 years ago, you fucking took one kick to the face and you couldn't move. So I was not about that. But other than that, I was really happy with how the match ended. I was like, it's a really good talking point. Leads into maybe a pay-per-view that's built around weapons coming up in 4 weeks' time.
Maybe. Can we just point this out there, though, as well? As if Ronda does indeed lose her streak to Charlotte, can Charlotte move down to NXT and beat Bianca Belair and officially become the streak breaker? Oh.
No. Why would you do that? Just keep Bianca Belair's streak intact and call her up.
Yeah, well, either way.
Why would you move Charlotte down? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard you say on this podcast.
We returned Charlotte Flair to NXT.
Hey, it'd bring draws to NXT because they'd be like, oh, hey, what's Charlotte Flair doing? Yeah, no, you're right.
So moving on, in the main event, Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan. Match starts with Brock Lesnar intent on ending Bryan's career and life. But Bryan ends up getting a comeback in the end, which a lot of people thought, like on Twitter, the vibe was, this is just going to be another Brock Lesnar squash match. Which it ended up being a really good match, which just shows Brock can go when he wants to. Because he was selling like a motherfucker too.
He was.
Sorry, go.
Sorry. To me, this was my match of the night. I didn't expect to see Brock Lesnar sell as much as he did, nor perform as much as he did. If I'm not mistaken, this was also the longest match that Brock Lesnar had outside of the Undertaker match at WrestleMania 30. Outside of the John Cena match in 2014 at Extreme Rules, I feel like this was his longest match.
AJ Styles last year.
Oh, right, I keep forgetting.
Survivor Series is clearly Brock Lesnar's favorite pay-per-view. He comes to Survivor Series ready to work.
Didn't he lose to Goldberg in 86 seconds 2 years ago?
That wasn't at Survivor Series, though, was it? Was it really? Oh, shit. Well, there you go.
Brock only works
I thought
Big
that
Four.
was later in that. Yeah, true. Yeah, but then there was the AJ Styles match and this one, so his Survivor Series record is redeemed. So saith Greg Unchained.
Law of averages. Got to make it.
Yeah, 2 out of 3. But yeah, he actually sold. He looked like he was going to tap out at a certain point. At which point I was like, that'd be great if he tapped out because that's for real. And then Heyman can spin it on the promo, who's like, well, he's a real fighter and he's a real champion, and he knows that sometimes you have to lose the battle to win the war and blah blah blah. And you can do that because that's what tapping out is. Tapping out isn't in wrestling. Tapping out is seen as this ultimate like disgrace when you tap out. And they like people even chant it, you tapped out, you tapped out. But tapping out is actually like in a real fight, it's smart.
Yeah.
So I thought it would have been great, but they ended up going with the Brock Lesnar win, which just kind of took all the air out of my sails.
I think because once the Brock Lesnar dominance started, I was just like, fuck my life. And then so when Daniel started coming back, and then after the match, like they do the close up and he's got that creepy look that he's perfecting so well, I was okay with it. When he I forget when like Brock goes down or whatever, I screamed at the top of my lungs at the Sporting Globe, kick him in the dick! And he did. And I'm like, this is how, it just reminded me of like the Shinsuke AJ feud. It's like, this is how you do a wrestler doing low blows, like as his thing, just like opportunistic, kick him in the dick. I loved it.
Yeah. He does it a lot better than Shinsuke. Yeah. I'm glad they've moved on to having Daniel Bryan be the dick kick guy.
Yeah, dick kick Bryan. I'm on board.
How odd was his entrance, though, as well? I just want to point that out as well. Daniel Bryan's entrance without the whole yes chance and walking backwards to the ring. It was odd.
I liked it. And can I say as well, with the creepy smile, you mentioned the creepy smile that he's doing, Danders. It reminds me, does anyone else watch Being the Elite?
Yeah.
I do, but I'm always like an episode.
You know at the moment, the spot that they're doing with Flip, where they get super kicked and they're all on the ground, they're like, yeah, more of that. Oh, I like that. More of that. It reminds me of that. I'm like, he's auditioning to be on Being the Elite and get super kicked by Flip.
Yeah, he's joining the new promotion.
Yeah, but I don't know. I felt like the Bryan, the comeback was so great and so well crafted that to me, I was like, he's going to win and he's going to be the one saving grace for SmackDown, right? Which will give him something as a heel because he's turned now, supposedly, which the alignments are all over the place. But if he's going to be a heel, then he's going to need something more than just, I was sick of doing everything the right way for all the fans. You don't really care. Like, that's trite. We don't want to hear that. But if then he also has this whole, I am the saving grace of SmackDown because I'll do what needs to be done. And you add that extra element because he would have been the only one who got a win. It would have been cool. But they didn't do that. Again.
Yeah, we are assuming that Brock is dropping the title pretty soon. So I think for him to have back-to-back losses would kind of be detrimental. I was okay with him winning, especially in the... I wish they had have made the Suplex City shit a little bit shorter, maybe not go on for so long and have a little bit more of the actual back and forth. But I was okay with him winning because I didn't see Bryan winning at all. And the fact that Bryan nearly made him tap, like there was no way Brock Lesnar was going to tap, but when he had him in the yes lock or whatever, I assume it's still called the yes lock, I was screaming, tap you paper bitch, tap!
It's, yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to disagree because I was so stoked for the comeback. It was so perfectly crafted and then just, it wasn't even like a big cutoff. It was just one F5 and then, I don't know, it just, like I said, just took the air out of my sails. I'm like, okay, and now the show's over. I don't know how to feel.
I feel like I'm okay with that ending due to the fact that it was a back and forth match. It wasn't just that common Lesnar demolition match. It was back and forth. Yeah. It was fast paced and Bryan actually getting offense against a beast. Like that was bloody amazing.
Yeah, well, going in, I didn't think Bryan had a chance. It was just the way they crafted the match. Because going in, it was like, okay, so obviously they don't want AJ to lose 2 years in a row. So they took the title off AJ, put it on Bryan to sort of avoid that, right? Like that's why they did that. And it makes perfect sense. And then, so I'm okay with Brock winning in that aspect. But just the way the match was crafted, man, it gave me so much false hope. So much false hope.
Sure, I can
Still
understand.
real to Greg, damn it.
It is. It is. That's why I do this, man. That's why we do this. But overall, I feel like the show was kind of...
I feel like it finished strong. I feel like it started very weak. I was really surprised with the final two matches. And you know what they say? It's like as long as you stick the landing, and I know that you weren't crazy about what happened, but I felt like it was unexpected and it was different.
Well, for the people playing at home, I think you could get away with just watching Murphy and Ali, Charlotte and Ronda, Brock and Bryan. And then you've got a solid
and then
show.
add Takeover to that because you apparently need to add an extra 2 hours.
Yeah, I don't know why it goes... How long was it today? 6 hours?
No, I think it was only 4.
It didn't even... with the pre-show, it was 4.5. Because the main show was 3.5 hours, because I remember the match finished and the guy behind me was like, there's half an hour left. What's going to happen? I'm like, no, mate, it's done. It's done. We didn't really get...
The pre-show went for 2 hours, though. The pre-show didn't only go for an hour this time. It went for 2 hours, even though it was only the one match.
I missed a lot of it. So, 5.5 hours. I only caught the last 45 minutes of it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I do other things while I'm watching it. Like, we had like a big bacon and egg breakfast and stuff like we do on pay-per-view days. But it was just, so... I don't know, I'm doing other things while I'm watching the pre-show, so that doesn't really count. But it still feels like a slog to get through. What I'm talking about is, compared to Takeover, you sit down, you watch it, you're like, oh, that's it, it's done, it's over, I feel amazing, that was incredible. And then Survivor Series is just like, it's going and going.
There's also only 6 matches, and the matches were not... The only one that I felt was that felt like a long match was Shinsuke and Seth. All the other matches I felt were of normal length, so there's obviously just a lot of crap filler in between.
Yeah, well, they had like lots of little promos with like the backstage hyping the teams up and all that sort of stuff.
R-Truth.
I'm all about...
Oh, that was actually a highlight.
R-Truth.
That was great.
Yeah.
R-Truth thinking he's on every single team, because what you didn't see on the pre-show, he tried to join the SmackDown team as the extra person.
I didn't see that. I saw when he went up to, was it Shane McMahon? He's like, look, I'm thinking of transferring to SmackDown. He's like, you're on SmackDown. He's like, good, because Raw is a mess right now.
Yeah, well, because he was previously in the Raw locker room and they all told him to jog on. Yeah. It was fantastic. R-Truth is a highlight of any show he's on.
When he was on Evolution, when he was like, I'm going to win the Battle Royal, I was like, perfect. He's perfect. He's finally found his niche, and it's with Carmella.
Can we just appreciate the dance break?
Yeah, and it makes Carmella so much more enjoyable too.
Yeah. I just want to appreciate the dance break real quick right in the middle of that match too.
Yeah, she's I'm not a fan of the flossing, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I think flossing is the dance move that she does. It's the new dab.
Okay, fair enough. I just thought she was just being a dork.
Oh, yeah, well that's that too.
And so I love it. She was already one of my daughter's favorites. Because for some reason my daughter likes to wear the camo. Not the camo, the leopard print. Ooh. Yeah. She likes the leopard print, and she has a hat that she calls her Carmella hat that has like pink leopard print and stuff. And but now that she does the dance breaks and stuff, it's like next level. Like it's gone through the roof, the Carmella fandom in this house.
So wait, look, I just want to put this out there. I really hope that your daughter, next time she's in trouble, just screams in your face, dance break, and then dances off into the distance.
Dude, if she did that, I wouldn't even be mad, like at all. At all. She gets out, when she does her dance breaks though, she has to get out, she has this toy guitar that plays beats. Because, you know, when they do it on the show, the lights go out and the beat plays and everything. Yep. So she actually has to run and grab her little guitar and put it down on the ground and press play, and then she starts dancing. It's great. It's great.
So overall...
And that's all we have time for. And that's all we have time for here. So thanks a lot for joining us, Danders. You going to come back?
Yeah, maybe at a more decent hour. Like I'm in the future here in Melbourne.
This is the thing, is we don't do decent hours because of CJ's work. So
yeah, my work's painful, but they love us, so
we'll just kick CJ to the curb.
That's fine. You can do WWE. I want to watch you do 10 hours of wrestling a week.
10 hours a week. It's kind of grueling. But that does it for the View from the WWE Universe bonus episode, Survivor Series, NXT TakeOver. Overall, it was actually a pretty good weekend. Where can people find you, Danders?
On Instagram is at Rachel Danderfield. It's like Dangerfield, but with a D. I get pretty naked on there, so if that offends you, don't follow me. On Twitter, at Danderfield, and don't add me on Facebook. We're not friends.
CJ?
Guys, you can find me on Facebook at CJ's World and on Instagram at CJ's_World.
I am at GregUnchained on Twitter, at TheGregUnchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit the B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, give us that 5-star review on iTunes if you feel so inclined, and thank you so much for listening.
7 stars in Japan.
Hold one. Arm drag.
You're not done with this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
So, no speak English.
Dummy.
Goodbye and good night.
Hold two. Arm bar.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it. Dummy. Hold three. The moss covered.